Hi guys, we are going to look at Linux redirection and piping. These are operators we often use. We're either using them because they're included in a command that we found on ChatGPT or Google, or it's an example, or it's in our command history, or if we're lucky enough, it's in our muscle memory. But it's good to look at these individually and have them really register. So let's go ahead and try this exercise. We're going to look at each of these redirection operators and the pipe operator. In example, there's only 7. Let's start with number 1, the greater than redirection operator. Paste. So this thing here sends stdout. St stands for standard and normal output to a file. Echo test output. This produces a string and it redirects it to a file. So we use this greater than redirection operator and specify the file name. Now this redirection operator, not mentioned over here, oh it is mentioned, overwrites the file. So the expectation is output.log will contain just test output. Let's verify that. Cat meow output.log. There it is. That's the contents of output.log. Test output. If we run it again, you'll see that the file will still have 1 line because it's overwrite the file. There, 1 line, not 2. Now let's look at the second example that actually appends. Let's copy this here, clear this out, paste it here. So it's basically the greater than and greater characters, and it redirects just like the previous one, but it appends. So let's verify that. I'm going to run it, and we already wrote a single string to that file. Now we're going to write another one, but we're appending. So output log should have 2 lines, one from the previous time we ran it, and now the second time, more data. Actually, yes, it'll have just 2. Output.log. Let's look at the file. There it is, 2 items, one from the previous example and one from this example. If we run it again, we'll see more data twice, so there'll be 3 lines there, 3 times. That's enough of that. Now, let's go on to the pipe command, number 3. Grab this here, and we'll look at it at the other terminal. Here we are, the command, the pipe operator, meaning pipe standard normal output to next command. So this is going to actually pass the results of the first command to the second command. So let's run this. We're going to say cat mock error.log. That will produce the contents of mock-error. But instead of printing to the screen, we're going to pass it to the next command, grep. Grab regular expression. I think that's what the G stands for, grab. So we're going to grep. We're not going to do it case insensitive. And we're going to type error. This file has lines with error and other lines without error. We only want to grab the ones with error. Let's see what happens. Yes, each of these lines have only error in it. Now let's look at the contents of the file completely. Mock error.log. And you see there are multiple lines in here, some that do have error, other ones that don't. So getting back to the point, this pipe sent the entire contents of mock-error to the grep command, and we grep for the pattern error in all caps, and we only saw errors. Then we ran the contents and we observed that there are indeed other lines that don't have it, so it worked. Clear. Let's look at the next one. Now this redirection operator, to greater than, sends standard error only to file. So let's try this and take a look at it more closely in the terminal window. The command to greater than, it's a redirection operator. We already discussed this, so let's try to type it and talk about this. So we're going to run ls-fake, right? And ls-fake is going to produce an error because s/fake does not exist. Let's just run the command without piping, without redirecting it, and see what it does. It produces an error. So what we're going to do is run ls-fake with this operator to greater than and pipe the result, standard errors, to errors.log. Now press enter. There we go. Let's take a look at the file, errors.log. There is the error. It was written to errors.log as expected. Let's look at the next one. Only 2 more to go. Now we're going to run the command ampersand greater than. It is a redirection operator, but it sends both standard out and standard error. So if you're running a command and it has output, but it also has errors, it will write that to the file you redirect to. So let's try that. Clear this noise, paste. Right, so ls friends, that folder does exist, and fake, which doesn't exist. So this is actually going to produce a listing, but this is going to produce an error. And then we're going to use this redirect operator, ampersand greater than, and redirect it to errors.log. Now let's look at the contents of this file and see what it produced. We are expecting to see the listing and the error. And there is the error from running on fake, but here's the contents of the friends folder. So it worked. That can be useful. Clear. Let's run the last example, the last scenario. Take a look at it in the terminal. So this redirect, quite a few characters, to greater than ampersand 1, redirects the error into stdout and then pipes it. So this is when you want to take an error and pipe it to another command, instead of the previous examples where we wrote it to file. So we're going to try this. Let's run the command first. That's fake. Cannot access. Fake. There's a bit of an issue here. The grep is looking for something that doesn't exist. So this wouldn't produce anything. We'll just type in one of these other keywords. So it greps against something that's positive. ls fake 2. Here's the operator. 2 greater than &1. Pipe the error to grep, case insensitive, and we'll look for, let's just say, ANN. So if ANN is matched, which it will because it's in the word cannot, it should, to the screen, produce the output, or include in the output, the line that you see above it. And there it is. ls cannot access, fake, no such file or directory. That's it. It's those 7 commands.